This video tutorial is to show how to recreate a model in the .adm format through the INP format and Adapt Builder. And in this example, we're using Adapt Builder Build 3. We're going to take this model and we're going to export this model out using the INP format, and then we're going to go ahead and re-import it to reconstruct the model and also show how to copy back in support lines and splitters, both of which are not included in the INP file. So we'll go ahead, and the first thing, we have tendons located in this model. We will go ahead and under the tendon ribbon, we're going to select tendon settings and just make sure we enable the export tendon segments in the INP option. And then we're going to select File, Export INP. We're going to create a file with the .imp extension. This file is editable. You can go into it in a text editor and modify any entry as needed. We'll go ahead now and we'll go to File New. We'll create a new template and we'll save the base file that we created the INP from. We'll go back to File and we're going to import INP. An import dialog window will show up. It's called Import Options. We have basically three tabs in Import Options. We have Components, Load Cases, and Load Combinations. So in the Components option, we can see that the components currently are inactive. That's because we are creating a new model. If we choose to create an individual level, for example, current plane, in this case, this is a single level model, so we can modify any component type that is being imported in. We can turn those off or on. So here we have columns, walls, slabs, tendons, and openings. If we update a level, we would also choose the level we wish to update, and we can also filter out components as needed. In this example, we're showing how to create a brand new model. So we're going to select all from the import level option. The merge similar slabs will create one slab of multiple slabs that have similar properties like thickness, offset, and material assignment. In this case, this does not apply to this example. We'll leave it turned on just as it's the default. If we go over to the second tab, Loads and Load Cases, we have the load cases that are defined in the original model as shown here. So we have dead load, live load. One thing to note is you can see that between dead and load, there's a separator using an underscore. That's important to note. If we choose not to map loads using this dialog into the new model, the program will actually write these two load cases as new load cases in the new model. The reserved load cases are dead load and live load without the separator. Here we have them set with the underscore. And if we did this multiple times, we would then get a counter 1, 2, 3, and so on in the as a part of the load case name. So for this case, we're going to select dead load. We're going to import the applied forces only. Those are just the applied loads. We don't want to import reactions in this case. That will actually include reactions from a solution in the file that we just created the INP file from. So we'll go ahead and we're going to map this to the reserve load case called dead load as the default in this new file. So we'll select that option. For hyperstatic, we're not going to import anything related to pre-stressing or hyperstatic. We are importing the tendons, but once they're solved for in the new model, we will have hyperstatic reactions and so on when we obtain a solution in the new model. So we'll select those as none. Live load, we're going to set this to applied force. We'll map it to live load. And self weight will be automatically calculated in the new model, so we'll leave that set to none also. Load combinations, we will select this as yes. You'll notice again we have the separator using the underscore, which is different than the default. The default naming scheme is slightly different. So we may get a repeat, which is easy to clean up in the new file. We'll go ahead and select OK. The program will generate the new model. If we go directly to loading, load cases, you can see because we mapped dead underscore load to dead load, we don't have a repeat of the name with the separator. If we go to load combinations, we do have a repeat of combos, so we can see these are the default combinations as contained in the new model, and this is based on the selection of the code criteria from the criteria ribbon, and then we have these repeats. So we could just come in here and just delete these repeats if we don't want those in the model. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save the file. Now if I go back to my default display and I try to generate design strips, you can see we don't have any support lines in the file. So we're going to open the original model. In the original model, I'll go back to the default display and I'll turn on my support lines and my splitters. And I'm just going to copy these objects. So we can go to modify to copy. We need to select these first. So we'll go back to home, select by type, support line and splitter, and we'll now go back to modify and copy. I'm going to immediately open the new file, which was called model 2. Okay, I can use Control V or I can paste from this option here, and I will just select O on the keyboard for origin, and that dumps those in. Okay, so those objects come in right on top of the slab, and we've restored this model in a new file. If you have any questions, please contact support@adaptsoft.com.